the Senior Director of Global Spiritual Life at New York University. And it's somewhat misleading that I'm starting us off tonight because although we're co-sponsors and we're supportive of this event, John Krupp and Mindfulness for Lawyers and Danette, who's in the back, have really done almost all of the work for this. And so we're so fortunate to be co-sponsoring with them, and grateful to all of you for coming out tonight. And I want to just make a couple of very quick announcements on the Mindful NYU side. So Mindful NYU is under the umbrella of Global Spiritual Life. And we have events, programs open to both the NYU community and the community at large all year long. And one particular event I want to call your attention to is coming up, it's in this coming summer. It's an institute, a 4-day institute, for those of you that want to create or build mindfulness programs within your community. We're teaching everything from how to launch a program to how to assess a program, how to ensure your own leadership is grounded in mindfulness, and how to make sure it's inclusive and connected to social justice. It's here, and early bird deadline is March 20th. The flyers are out on the table, but I really want to encourage you, if you're thinking of, or if you already have a mindfulness program within your community, to please sign up and join us. It's going to be an incredible conversation and week. And then just a couple other things. On April 6th, we have the People of Color Meditation Retreat in this room, specifically for NYU students. So if you're an NYU student, you're welcome to join us for that. And April 22nd, we're hosting Esther Perel at Skirball. She's a psychologist. She's going to be talking about the spiritual crisis of loneliness and connection. And so mark those dates. If you're tweeting or Instagramming tonight, we're using the hashtag mindfulethics, and we can think about the ethics of all those things, tweeting and mindfulness, as we're listening to the panel. But that option is there for you. So if you hashtag mindfulethics. And finally, towards the latter part of the evening tonight, there are pieces of paper and pens underneath your chair. And at some point, we'll collect those, and those will be questions. So if the panelists are talking and you want to ask a question or make a comment, that's your chance to do it. Fill out that question, and someone will come around and pick them up before the panel is over. I want to also thank our speakers, even though John will formally introduce them. We're really honored by your presence. And we want to thank really the ancestors, everyone, for bringing us to this wonderful conversation and really important, powerful moment. So thank them. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to lead us in a very short meditation, just to ground us and to bring us into this moment, to bring our bodies and our hearts and our minds together for this moment. I ask, if your phone is not on silent, to put it on silent, to relax into your chair, to settle your body. You can close your eyes, or you can keep them very softly focused in front of you. And just take a few deep breaths to settle the body, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the muscles of the face, inviting a sense of letting go of anything that doesn't need to be here right now. Feeling the chair underneath you. Feeling the chair against your back. Feeling your feet connected with the ground. And scanning through your whole body, inviting it to come to ease, to relax, open. Allow the breath to come in naturally, feeling the micro release with each exhale. Allow the breath to soften you. As your thoughts come and go, just keep bringing your attention back to the room, to the moment, to this next breath, to your body on the chair. For one more minute, just allow yourself to be breathed. So I now thank you all so much. I'm going to hand over the mic to John Krop, who is the founder of Mindfulness for Lawyers. He is a lawyer, a Harvard Law grad. He has practiced for over a decade, including a 7-month silent meditation retreat, lots of practice with Chula Dasas, Samhata Vipassana tradition, the Burmese Vipassana tradition with Mahasi Sayadaw via lineages of Anagarika, Maninja long lineages. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Yale. Oh, okay. Thank you all for coming. So I just want to introduce our incredible panelists. So first we have Corey Mascara. We're really grateful to have you. He joined us on short notice and couldn't be happier. We're very lucky to have him. Corey is the head of the Long Island Center for Mindfulness. He himself is a very deep meditation practitioner. He did a very intensive 6-month retreat directly with the great Sayadaw U Pandita in Burma as a monk. And he's got a book coming out soon. So that's exciting. So thank you for coming, Corey. We have the wonderful Melissa Carter. Mel is the head of Mindful NYU, which I understand to be the largest campus-wide mindfulness initiative in the country, which is pretty incredible. And before becoming a mindfulness instructor and coach, Mel was I believe, a high-powered record executive before finding a new calling. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We have Janice Martirano, legendary Janice Martirano, founder of the Institute of Mindful Leadership. Janice was a senior lawyer and executive, deputy general counsel and vice president at General Mills when she discovered her connection with mindfulness and underwent her training, and then began teaching mindful leadership there, went on to found the Institute for Mindful Leadership, which I believe she's been running for 13 years, something like that. Okay. Where she teaches mindful leadership at Fortune 100 companies, government agencies, nonprofits, essentially you name it. And then last but not least, we have Mark Manson. Mark Manson. No one calls him that. Mark is a blogger with millions of readers and the author of the worldwide bestseller, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a. And this is a family program, so I'm not going to say the final word. I'm not going to let you go the entire. So Mark's books have sold over, his book has sold over 3 million now. Sure. Is it up? Okay. So Mark is also a pretty dedicated meditator. He's been practicing in the Zen tradition for some time now as well. So we're lucky to have this incredible panel. I do want to take a second just to acknowledge that originally we were going to have Sharon Salzberg and Mirabai Bush with us, and unfortunately 2 unrelated illnesses stepped in, so they had to withdraw. So Sharon, I understand, is feeling much better and is on her way to a full recovery, so that's wonderful. Mirabai herself is fine. She stepped back because her good friend Ram Dass, the great spiritual teacher, has fallen ill. So she is in Maui with Ram Dass now. So let's just take a second and have them in our thoughts, and then go on to have an incredible panel. So here we go. So my first question, let me just start by sort of laying out the ground rules, I guess. I essentially want this to just be a conversation between them, not me. But I'm going to give a question to a specific person a lot of the time. After they answer, I want anyone else in the panel to feel like they can jump in, follow up on that, expand on that, push back on it in a respectful way if you have a differing viewpoint, and hopefully we'll have a really interesting, honest, sort of unvarnished and candid conversation here. All right, so I'd love to start with Corey. In you have a pretty deep traditional Buddhist practice, and Buddhism is of course where these mindfulness practices originally emerged from, for the most part. And so, in the Buddhist tradition, what is the role of ethics? And what role does ethics play in that tradition? And what is the intersection between mindfulness and ethics?
And when you say the intersection between mindfulness and ethics, you mean mindfulness in a Buddhist context?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay. So there are many different strands of Buddhism ever since it moved from India, but I'll speak to the ethics in the tradition that I practiced in, which was Theravada Buddhism, which was most closely associated with what the Buddha taught. And so in Buddhism, there are the 4 noble truths. There's life has suffering, or life is suffering. then there is the cause of that is attachment, that there's a path for the cessation of suffering, and then that path is the Eightfold Noble Path. So the Buddha was very clear that there's a way to transcend suffering, if you will. And that is in the form of a map, the Eightfold Noble Path. And a cornerstone of that map is morality and ethics. So there are three core components to that, which are morality, concentration, and wisdom. So he was pretty algorithmic in his prescription for the role morality plays in awakening or insight or wisdom. And he more or less said it like this: a mind that doesn't have remorse, which would be a product of good morality. A mind that doesn't have remorse has delight. A mind that has delight, a mind that has delight has tranquility. A mind that has tranquility has happiness. A mind that has happiness is able to develop concentration. A mind with concentration develops wisdom, and then wisdom leads to the unhinging of the causes of attachment. So there's a clear progression in that for him, and it's why when you go on a retreat, it's why when you practice Buddhist meditation, there are certain precepts that you take: right speech, right action, right livelihood, that form the foundation for what we could say of a purity of mind. And you don't even have to think about it in a very algorithmic way. Anyone that's ever tried to meditate before, and you've had some swirling thoughts in your head of like, why did I say that thing to that person? I was such an idiot. Like, you know what that feels like and the tension that creates. It's going to be very hard for the mind to settle and concentrate in that space, to do the work of actually paying attention to the nature of the mind that ends up freeing the mind from suffering. So there's a settling quality to having a mind that is what we could say pure. And the argument there is that when we are in alignment with a certain standard of ethics, there's a natural